"Stop lying, Emma." These were the words that froze the entire classroom. 6-year-old Emma sat trembling at her desk, her tiny hands gripping her pencil as her teacher, Mrs. Harper, stood towering over her. The children around her giggled, some whispering, some pointing, but Emma kept her eyes locked on her notebook. All she had done was answer a simple question. It was morning in Maplewood Primary School, and Mrs. Harper had asked each student to share what their parents did for a living. When it was Emma's turn, her voice shook with shyness as she said, "My dad, he helps a lot of people. He's a businessman." But Mrs. Harper's face hardened instantly. "A businessman? A successful businessman?" She crossed her arms. "Emma, this isn't story time. You need to stop making things up." Emma tried to explain softly, "I'm not lying, my dad." But before she could finish, Mrs. Harper slammed her hand on the table. "Enough. You always come late. Your clothes are messy. And you never bring expensive supplies like the others. Do you expect me to believe your father is important?" The class erupted in laughter. Tears filled Emma's eyes. She didn't have fancy clothes or shiny shoes. She didn't have expensive lunch boxes or pretty hairbands like the others. Because her father always said, "Sweetheart, value kindness, not luxury." But Mrs. Harper didn't understand that. Later during art class, Emma quietly drew a picture of her father, a gentleman who always worked hard but still found time to braid her hair every morning. She barely finished when Mrs. Harper snatched the paper from her desk. "What is this now?" she asked mockingly. "Your father arriving in a big car? With bodyguards?" "Emma, why do you lie so much? You want attention?" Embarrassed and angry, Emma whispered, "It's true." That was it. Mrs. Harper dragged Emma to the front of the class, pointing at the drawing. "Children, look at this. Emma says her father is some sort of millionaire with guards. What a silly lie." The kids laughed louder. Emma covered her ears. She felt the entire world crushing her small heart. Just then, the classroom door creaked open. Mrs. Harper turned, annoyed. "Who is it now?" Emma looked up, her eyes widening. It was him, her dad, and he wasn't alone. Behind him stood two men in black suits, tall and serious. Her dad looked frightened, not because of the teacher, but because he could see tears streaming down his little girl's face. He rushed forward. "Emma, what happened?" Before Emma could speak, Mrs. Harper jumped in. "You must be her guardian?" she asked, raising an eyebrow at his simple blue shirt and dusty shoes. "Good. We need to talk." Emma has been lying again. Her father looked stunned. "Lying?" "Yes," Mrs. Harper said sharply. "She told the entire class that you're some important businessman. Even drew this ridiculous picture." She waved the drawing in his face. He slowly took the paper from her hand. Then he knelt beside Emma and wiped her tears gently. "I'm here now," he whispered. "You did nothing wrong." But his eyes, they were cold with anger. Mrs. Harper placed her hands on her hips. "Look, sir, children sometimes lie, but Emma takes it too far. She invents stories. She needs discipline, not encouragement." The father slowly rose, keeping Emma close. "Mrs. Harper," he said calmly, "may I ask why you think she lied?" The teacher sighed loudly. "Because you clearly don't look like a millionaire. You come on an old scooter. You wear simple clothes, and this," she gestured toward his dusty shoes, "doesn't say successful businessman." The room went completely silent. Even the children stopped whispering. Emma held her father's hand tighter. He took a deep breath, then said something Mrs. Harper never expected. "I don't wear expensive clothes because I don't want my daughter to grow up thinking money is everything. But I suppose today I must show you the truth." He turned to the door and signaled. Suddenly, the hallway filled with the sound of polished shoes. A group of guards walked in, serious, professional, wearing badges of a well-known corporation. Behind them, a smartly dressed woman entered and said loudly, "Sir, your meeting has been shifted to 12 p.m. The board is waiting." Mrs. Harper's jaw dropped. The father nodded to her and said, "Thank you, Sarah. Please wait outside." Then he turned to Mrs. Harper. "My name is Daniel Thompson. I am the founder and CEO of Thompson Enterprises. We build schools, hospitals, and shelters across the country. I usually keep a low profile for the sake of my daughter's peace. But today, you humiliated her for telling the truth." Mrs. Harper stepped back, speechless. The entire class watched in shock. He continued, Emma didn't lie. She simply told you what I do. And you punished her, because her lunchbox isn't fancy, because her shoes aren't shiny, because I choose simplicity over showing off. Emma looked up at him with pride glowing through her tears. Mrs. Harper stuttered, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. But he raised a hand. This is not about money, he said firmly. You judged my daughter based on appearance. A teacher should encourage children, not shame them. He turned to Emma and asked softly, do you want to go home? She nodded. He lifted her into his arms. Before leaving, he said one final sentence that echoed through the room. Never tell a child their dreams or their truth are too big. As they walked out, the children watched silently. Some of them looked guilty. Some looked amazed. But one thing was certain. Emma walked out of that school stronger than she had ever felt. And Mrs. Harper, she learned that day, you never know who a child really is until the truth walks through your door.